This article is from the New York Post. Broke men are hurting American women's marriage prospects. Well, I guess it's too bad that men in America are struggling at the moment when compared to American women. Men have much higher suicide rates, higher instances of homelessness, lower college participation levels. Somehow, the increasing economic challenges that men face are actually an inconvenience for women. Forget about how women benefit from affirmative action in education and in the workplace. Forget about how female hypergamy means that a woman is often less likely to marry down and settle for a man who has less resources than she has. Whatever happened to calls for equality? I thought we were supposed to celebrate the idea of women doing financially the same or better than men, but apparently even that situation isn't good enough. There's a devastating shortage of men who have their act together, according to a new study that may not be so surprising to all the single ladies out there. Who have their act together. What does that even mean? That's a very condescending tone to take. Talking down to men, claiming they need to step up to some arbitrary set of standards set by who exactly? Research now suggests that the reason for recent years' decline in the marriage rate could have something to do with the lack of economically attractive male spouses who can bring home the bacon, according to the paper published Wednesday in the Journal of Family and Marriage. And of course, decades of feminism and female empowerment politics didn't have anything to do with that, right? Maybe people are finally realizing that women and men are different. That when women have the same material resources as men and achieve the same career success, that when it comes to relationships, that they're still not happy because they seek things in men that men don't seek in women. Men generally don't really care what women do for a living. We don't care if she has a career or if she just bags groceries. Men don't ask for that much. Ideally, they'd like to be the providers, with women as the caregivers and homemakers. This has been the successful traditional way for centuries, and it worked because it's the system that most closely aligns with natural gender dynamics. Men are attracted to a young woman who's fertile, who preferably has the same values that they do, who will be a good mother to their children, and of course they want sex and companionship also. Women want a man who can provide security, safety, a partner, a place they can make a home and have children. But this tried and tested proven system has become extremely difficult for most people to achieve because of feminism, and now we're being told that the economic successes that feminism has afforded women are still not enough. If women aren't getting married, it's men's fault for not earning enough? We've been told for a long time that a strong, independent woman doesn't need no man. That a woman needs a man like a fish needs a bicycle. Obviously an absurd notion. Men and women depend on each other. They're designed to complement one another. But that should go without saying. Anyway, now when women can truly have everything, i.e. the same, if not more material resources than men, it's not enough. The reality is that women seek men with more resources than they have. And that when a woman climbs to the top of the career ladder and in leadership roles, that she realizes that there aren't that many men up there. She actually has less options the further up the hierarchy she climbs. Most American women hope to marry, but current shortages of marriageable men, men with a stable job and a good income, make this increasingly difficult, says lead author Daniel Litcher in a press release. So let's read that again. But current shortages of marriageable men, men with a stable job and a good income. Okay, but I thought you married for love and not for a man's money. You make men sound like human ATMs. Okay, seriously, women are overwhelmingly overrepresented in education now, and the corporate world favors diversity and feminist hiring policies. These things are not men's fault, and we're being fed this lie by society right now that men and women are the same, and that we need more representation of women in traditionally male-dominated white-collar fields. I know this is shocking, despite what Google search autocompletes might tell us, but men can't have babies. And instead, if women are encouraged to prioritize family and motherhood rather than career, then more jobs in the workforce would go to men, and women wouldn't have to worry about shortages of marriageable men with more financial resources than they have, because there would be plenty to choose from. Anyway, you can read the full article below for yourself, but I'll skip to the last few lines of the article. Many young men today have little to bring to the marriage bargain. especially as young women's educational levels on average now exceed their male suitors, Litcher says. Some ladies are even starting to date down in order to score a forever partner. And sure, there's the whole love factor in a marriage, but in the end, it also is fundamentally an economic transaction, says Litcher. Wow, so romantic. Who says love is dead? You know, maybe that's the problem. That men realize that marriage is a raw deal for them, and there's a chance that they could get fleeced in divorce court, lose their house, lose money, and even the kids, because child custody settlements often favor the mother. Perhaps many men realize that one-sided economic transactions are not all that desirable. At no point does this article ask what is in it for men. What is in marriage for men? What do men stand to gain from marriage in its current form? Now, I'm a traditionalist, as you know. I value the nuclear family as the essential building block of a nation, but the institution of marriage has been vandalized. People have to realize what made it work in the first place. Instead, we've had decades of social engineering, driving the genders apart, making marriage unworkable, and encouraging people to pursue material interests rather than security and the fulfillment of having and raising children. Feminism hasn't made women any happier. In fact, consistently, happiness surveys over the past few decades have shown a gradual decline in women's happiness levels. Why would anyone be surprised? If a woman wants to one day have children, she cannot afford to waste her time, specifically her prime fertile years. All those years spent in education, getting degrees, master's degrees, and then working for years and years in meaningless corporate office jobs. The feminist liberation movement wasn't designed to help women. It was designed to get them into the workforce in order to tax them. It might be great for economies, but it's not so good for human happiness. And we really should be concerning ourselves more with measuring the success of our societies based on what makes men and women happy, not solely on what's best for GDP.